The story begins in a dungeon, where an adventurer named Orin battles some monsters. He slashes at the monsters with his sword. Then he sighed with relief because he hadn't wielded his sword in a long time, and was afraid he had forgotten how to use it. Suddenly, a horde of goblins erupts before him, so Orin immediately casts a strength-enhancing spell on himself, which also reinforces his sword. He then engages the horde of goblins and slaughters them one by one, just as his spell fades. Another horde of goblins materializes, so Orin immediately casts another spell and assails them. While fighting, he must keep track of the spell's duration, and as soon as it's about to cease, he casts another spell. Orin vanquishes all the goblins, then he recollects the day he was kicked out of his party. His party leader, Oliver, had declared that they no longer required him because he was too weak. Orin recoiled in shock to hear this, as they were childhood friends. Orin protested that he was just as strong as them, so why was he being expelled from the party? Oliver responded that they required a powerful enhancer. Last month, when they witnessed the support magic of the enhancer Selma from another S-rank party, they recognized how weak their own party's enhancer's support magic was, which is why they resolved to remove him. Orin struggled to explain that he was a swordsman, but when the party needed an enhancer, he resolved to learn support magic and become one. But Oliver stated they had already secured his replacement, and their decision was final. Orin was shocked to hear this, but he accepted their decision. However, as Orin departed the room, Anneli derided him, asserting that people like him were dubbed jacks of all trades. Therefore, Orin vows that he will employ both swordsmanship and enchantment, and become a successful adventurer so that no one can ever deride him again. Orin affixes his registration by pressing the teleportation crystal with his guild card. Just then, he spots some adventurers streaking towards him. Orin prepares to leave, but when he catches them whispering they abandoned a girl to die at the hands of orcs, he halts and attends to their conversation. The group's leader justifies that if they had attempted to rescue the girl, they would all have perished, so they executed the right decision by abandoning her. Orin is hesitant to intervene in their affairs, but he recognizes a connection to the girl's plight, so he chastises them, branding them cowards. An adventurer, infuriated by this, attempts to strike him, but Orin easily fells him to the ground. Then he insists upon information about the girl's location from them. A horde of orcs encircles the girl, blocking her escape route. She strives to defend herself by incanting a barrier spell. The orcs commence to hammer the barrier with their weapons, and it soon shatters, but just then, Orin shows up to defend her. Orin deflects the orc's blow with his sword, then augments his strength with a support spell, enabling him to cleave one of the orcs in two with a single strike. The girl stares, uncertain whether Orin is a swordsman or an enchanter. Orin then employs a spell to hone his sword's edge, and in a short time, he mows down all the orcs as easily as slicing through butter. The girl gazes in amazement, and then Orin guides her out of the dungeon. The girl expressed gratitude to Orin for rescuing her life, and informed him her name was Sophia Claudel. Orin shares his name with her, and then he prepares to leave, but Sophia invites him to share dinner with her, and Orin agrees. Sophia ushers Orin to a restaurant, and when Orin observes the sign, he discerns Sophia is a member of the Silver Rabbits clan, as the same symbol is emblazoned on her cape. Orin enters the restaurant with Sophia, and she then brings him to meet her older sister, Selma. However, Orin and Selma already know each other. Selma is the leader of the Silver Rabbits clan's most powerful S-rank party and also the most powerful enchanter on the continent. Orin ponders why Selma is glaring at him angrily, but when Selma demands to know why he's with her sister, he grasps the reason. Sophia clarifies that Orin rescued her life, and Selma realizes Sophia ventured to the dungeon alone. She chastises Sophia and thanks Orin for saving her life. Then they all settle down and converse, and Sophia inquires how they know each other. Orin elaborates that they collaborated during a raid last month, and Orin served alongside Selma as an assistant. Selma informs Sophia that Orin is quite famous because he's a member of the hero party. Orin then discloses that he has departed the hero party, but he withholds the reason. He suspects Selma intends for him to join her party, so he informs her upfront that he refuses to join any party for the time being. Selma then invites him to participate in their clan's teaching expedition, where new recruits will be tutored. They must reach the 50th floor of the Southern Great Dungeon in 3 days. Orin considers this plan strange because it usually requires new recruits 6 months to a year to reach that level. Selma asserts that she cannot alter the plan because their sponsors are insisting on it. But Orin perceives that Selma is deliberately avoiding declining the sponsors because if the new recruits attain the deeper floors, their clan's strength will augment. Selma is stunned that Orin deciphered her plan with so little information. She explains that most new recruits cannot defeat the floor bosses, so an experienced adventurer will vanquish the floor bosses first, and then the new recruits will register themselves at the crystal on the next floor. Orin recognizes this as a very important mission for the Silver Rabbits clan, and he is unwilling to serve as an enchanter again, so he initially declines her offer. But Sophia implores him to accompany them, so Orin requests for time to deliberate. Orin informs Selma that he has already transitioned to a swordsman, and will accompany them in that capacity. Selma is astounded to hear this, as she assumed enchanter was Orin's main job. But she accedes to Orin's condition, thinking he will change to enchanter in dangerous situations. Then Orin makes his way to an old man's shop. The man beams to see him and prepares him some tea. They commence a conversation. The man expressed gratitude to Orin for endorsing his shop, but Orin informs him that he is no longer a member of the hero party, so he will be unable to endorse his shop anymore. However, the man still thanks him and advises that his life must be dedicated to aiding others. Orin thanked the old man for his advice. The next morning, Orin advances toward the Silver Rabbits headquarters, where he spots Selma awaiting him outside. Orin greets Selma, and she escorts him inside. Orin then meets with Vince Briars, the head of the Silver Rabbits clan, and he asked for more information about the teaching expedition. So Vince tells Selma to provide details, and she clues him in on how they will reach floor 1 to 51 of the Great Dungeon in 3 days. Selma already told Vince that Orin has left the heroes' party, and he figured it's a major loss for them, since they won't be as strong as before. And Selma pointed out his support magic got them to levels they weren't capable of, since his casting speed is 4 times faster than hers. As she tacked on, he has all the skill an enchanter needs. Vince found it hard to believe he is so capable, but Selma insisted he is truly a powerful beast. Selma lays out all the details of their plan to Orin, and he thinks why she is taking so much risk, since she wants 10 parties of rookies to be escorted by 5 adventurers. So Selma says she's doing that to give rookies some fighting experience. But Orin thinks this mission is too important for them, and they are hiding the real reason since he is an outsider. Orin agrees to take their request, and Vince says he'll get 12 gold coins after mission success. So Orin points out they're paying high amount for the job, and Selma tells him they think he's worth that much. So Orin swears to do his best for them. Next day, as he gets to the entrance of the Great Dungeon, Sophia and Selma show up to greet him. And he sees Sophia's outfit is different from other rookies, so he says she rocks that outfit. But Selma challenges if he is trying to flatter her sister, and he answers he used to chatting with girls. Selma clues and Orin used to hang out with girls of his party. She then asked why he is hanging back from the rest of the group. Orin tells her he doesn't want to make rookies nervous, so Selma goes to introduce him with others, and leads him to other 3 escorts. She introduces Orin to them, and insists that he is strong. But Orin tells her not to get his hopes up, and he tells them he is a frontline attacker. Orin finds out 2 of them are defenders and the girl is a healer, and he sees 5 of them make a balanced party. So he figures something is wrong with this whole mission. Selma then leads him over to meet with the rookies, and she sees they all look tense, so she says she snagged a powerful helper, and presents Orin as a former member of Hero's party, who reached floor 94 they have yet to reach. Orin is stunned by all the hype about him, and he mutters it was a little too much. But she says she did that to relax the rookies, and Orin fears it will backfire. Selma tells him to escort the group 10, since they're their most promising rookies they have. So Orin says hello to group 10, but he wonders why it only has 3 members. So the group leader Logan brags no one can keep up with them, and Orin tells them to introduce themselves. Logan says he is an enchanter, and he aims to top Selma. Caroline says she is a defender, but Orin sees she isn't decked out in any armor. So she tells him she is not into any armor, since she plans to dodge enemy attacks. Orin sees she is a dodge-type defender, who relies on their speed to dodge. So Orin thinks no one tipped her off. It is dangerous without experience, and Logan tells him she blew off all the warnings. They start squabbling with each other, so Orin figures out they are the problem kids. Sophia tells them she is a rear attacker and a caster, and Orin breathes a sigh of relief she is not like them. They start heading inside the dungeon, and Orin sees the rookies quit their noise. Caroline asks Orin why he bailed on the hero's party, and he wasn't sure how to respond, so he tells her to butt out. Caroline brings up Sophia saying someone amazing was going to join them, and thinks she meant Orin. So Sophia says she was definitely talking about Orin, since he pulled her out of a jam, and Caroline tells her to chill out in the dungeon. Orin sees Caroline was saying this to settle down Sophia, as he sees she's more considerate of others than she seems. Orin feels 2 hungry wolves charging in their direction, but they get zapped by the trap spells Orin he'd rigged on their way. They hit floor 20, and Orin had been watching how they battled. He sees Logan is seriously talented as an enchanter, and he could totally hold his own in an A-rank party. But he sucks at calling the shots. Caroline has the speed of a dodge-type defender, but she rushes the monsters without any plan, and she uses 2 daggers that don't pack a punch. Sophia is stronger than a normal rookie, but she is slow to warm up to her party members. The escorts take down the floor 20 boss, and Selma tells the rookies to punch in floor 21 on their guild card. Selma catches up with Orin on floor 21, and Orin tells her he thinks group 10 has game, but he is bugged about Caroline. So Selma tells him she has gotten way better. Next morning Orin catches a front-page story about the hero party's new enchanter, and he is bummed because his banishment is going to be all over the news. He frets about what the rookies will think if they find out. But he decides to just drop it, so he heads for the meeting point. But he hears a familiar voice yell his name, and he finds it's his former party member Luna. Orin remembers she was always kind with him, and she had been gone when he got the boot. Luna begs him to rejoin their party, and he asks if the others want him back. But she tells him she will try to talk to others. Orin sees she's dead serious about bringing him back, but says he can't after reading the article in the newspaper. She brings up their vow to clear the Great Dungeon together, but Orin gets pissed, since Orin, Luna and Oliver made that promise, and Oliver gave him the axe. So he tells her he is never coming back, and heads for the meeting point. As Orin heads towards the meeting point, he keeps dwelling on that article in the newspaper, which mentioned he was banished because he was weak. And he wonders if the people will still trust him after reading that article. As Orin gets to the meeting point, he notices the rookies are treating him differently from yesterday, but he gets there confused since Selma bragged about him. Orin spots Selma walking in with others, and she apologizes for using him to inspire rookies. But Orin says she doesn't need to apologize, and he should have told her everything before it went down. Selma still thinks she should have been more careful with his situation, and Orin promises he'll still back them up during their dungeon delve. Other adventurers say they still trust him, since he managed to hit floor 94. Selma says he did great yesterday, so Orin vows he will do his best today. Orin joins the group 10, and he asks them if they know what was in today's paper. Sophia and Caroline tell him they don't care what that article says, but Logan asks if it is true. So Orin tells him he is not the hero everyone expected, and the article is right, he is weak. But Sophia insists he is strong, since he easily smashed a dozen orcs in an instant. Orin says he has enough strength to get them to floor 51, he swears he will protect them. But Logan mulls over what's going on, as he calls himself an idiot for trusting him. They start checking out the dungeon's floor 21, and they plan to get to floor 35 today. Orin plans not to give any instructions until they hit floor 31, so the rookies have to lead the way. Caroline takes the lead on floor 24, and Sophia takes down the boss of floor 29. So Orin says they crushed it, and he notes they still believe in him. They hit floor 31, and Orin knows he has to be sharp since now he will be calling the shots. He feels monsters ahead, so he tells them to get ready for a fight. Orin sees a group of monsters pop out of hiding, so he tells Caroline to lure their attention, and he notes she is rocking it without any problem. So Orin tries to tell Logan, but Logan starts throwing out a support spell before he can finish. Logan thinks Orin is just giving basic orders, so he figures he is nothing special. Orin tells Sophia to deal with the orcs in the back, but they notice she is too traumatized to move, and Logan sees Orin is not helping her, so he thinks he can't count on him. But Orin quietly hits the orc with a debuff spell, which slows down the orc's movement. Orin then tries to chill out Sophia, saying she has her comrades backing her up. Sophia gets some confidence, and she blasts the orc with a strong fire spell. The spell just wipes the orc out, and Orin notes Sophia just threw an advanced fire spell. He says it was a good attack, and Sophia thanks him for helping her calm down. Logan can't figure out why he was kicked out of the party, since he saw how amazing Orin is. They run into a giant death tarantula on floor 35, and Logan feels they're not strong enough to fight it. But Orin tells Logan to buff Caroline and Sophia, and Caroline runs right at the death tarantula. Orin notices Logan is trying to jump in front, so he stops him, saying it would be a disadvantage for him. Orin then tells Caroline to leap over and slice at its back, and she does that as she was told. He then tells her to keep its focus on her, and Logan slaps a mobility buff spell on her. So Caroline easily ducks the death tarantula attacks, and Orin tells Logan to back her up with his spell. He then tells Sophia to hold down the tarantula, and she blasts a wind cutter spell, which hacks off the tarantula's legs. Caroline thinks they have won, but Orin tells Logan to buff Caroline, and Logan wonders why as he casts the spell. The tarantula grabs Caroline with its web, so Orin tells her to cut it with her daggers. But she couldn't slice it even with Logan's support spell helping her. Orin notices Sophia's buff spell is about to wear off, so he tells Logan to buff Sophia, and he tells Sophia to get a rock arrow ready. Orin sees Logan has already maxed out his spell limit, so he quietly slaps a support spell on Caroline's daggers, and she breaks free from the web. Orin then tells Sophia to launch the attack, and she finishes the spider with the huge rock. Caroline and Sophia start freaking out over their victory, and Orin tells Logan this worked because of his support magic. Orin tells them to head back, and Logan looks at him with a puzzling look on his face. They all meet up outside the dungeon, and Selma says tomorrow's their last day. As Orin heads home, Jack and Ron walk up to him, and they ask him to grab dinner. Orin sees they are not sweating him, so he says he is totally in. As the group 10 heads back to their inn, Logan asks Sophia if Orin was alone when he took down those orcs, and Sophia says he was all alone. So he asks her about his fighting style. She remembers Orin threw a powerful wind blast. She also remembers he pumped up his sword with a support spell. So Logan figures out what spell it is, and Caroline mentions he used that same spell to sharpen her daggers. Logan can't get how Orin can use a sword and also cast a spell, so Sophia tells him she heard him say he switched to a frontline attacker. But this makes zero sense for Logan, since Orin was looking like a perfect enchanter. So he gets that he misjudged Orin this morning, as he saw Orin throw a debuff spell on the orc to help Sophia, and they're hard to use for even someone like Selma, but Orin slips them out easily. Logan notices Orin also knew exactly when the buffs on his party would end, and he called the tarantula's last attack, as he realizes he is way better than him as an enchanter. So he can't figure out why he switched to an attacker, and Sophia tells him Orin is a good frontline attacker. Logan thinks Orin is a real genius, and he wants to rip off everything he can to get stronger. Orin walks into a restaurant with Jack and Ron, and they ask him, "Hero party must throw a ton of parties." But Orin tells them he didn't really hang out with them, since he was always stuck doing all the errands. So they say they shouldn't have written that article like that, and Orin thanks them for their kind words. Jack asks if he is a swordsman or an enchanter, so Orin tells him he switched to a swordsman when he left the party, and they ask why he did it. He tells them he always wanted to be a swordsman when he was a kid, since he saw his grandfather take down a huge monster attacking the village. And he was happy when he became one of the hero's party swordsmen. So they can't figure out why he became an enchanter, and he tells them the monsters were getting tougher as they got to deeper floors, so their progress was slowing down. So they started thinking about enchanters, and they picked him to switch to an enchanter. Jack says he made a good call, since they managed to hit floor 94. But Orin tells them it was a dumb way to do it, as he thinks they should have chilled out and leveled up. They ask what he means, but Orin opts to keep quiet, as he knows the hero party is too soft to push any further than floor 94. Jack asks Orin what his ideal swordsman is, and he says a swordsman who could solo the lower floors. Caroline tells Sophia tomorrow's the last day they see Orin, and Sophia hopes he joins their clan. So Caroline tells her to ask him to join them, and Sophia thinks about popping the question.